Well, the Rangers were looking to bring out the brooms and sweep the Bronx, but it didn't happen with Jack Leiter on the mound today. We're going to get into the Yankees series, preview the series against the Phillies coming up. Come hang out on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Well, they were so close, but just honestly a strikeout away maybe from sending it into extras and rallying again like the last few games that the Rangers have played. It's great to be with you. I'm Abby Jones. We've got Jeff Wilson joining in from Globe Life Field. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, fellas. How's everything going? I know you're not a fella, but
I wasn't saying that. I was just making sure
it's a colloquially fellas, guys, gang, troop.
How's
everybody doing?
Oh, we're good. We got Elijah as well. Rads is out. I'm going to be filling in for him tomorrow and into next week. So we're going to be hanging out. But yeah, Jeff, you were kind of looking for the sweep today. Didn't really go as Bruce Bochy, I imagine, would have drawn it up.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird game. Neither starter was great. Carlos Rodon allowed 10 base runners in just over 5 innings, and Rangers had some chances. He got 2 double plays that were really, really big. That kind of stunted the Rangers' rallies, if you will. And then Jack, the whole way he was behind on balls and strikes, and then it really caught up to him in the 4th inning when he walked 3 and gave up the hit to his high school buddy Nathan Eovaldi that tied the game. And then I don't really blame Higashioka for the bad throw to third, short hopped, but the pitcher's got to do a better job there. So it's but nevertheless, that was it. It was 2 runs. Hobie Milner comes in, does a great job. Then they put in Robert Garcia, and he has another Robert Garcia moment, and coughs up a home run to Paul Goldschmidt on an 0-2 pitch, and that was it. The Yankees bullpen actually held serve today, and the Rangers had a couple chances. David Bednar was really tough, and they let him go. He threw 42 pitches, which is very unusual for your closer. Got a couple on there in the 9th with 2 outs, and Adola struck out. So game over. But you walk away, and Bruce Bochy made sure to emphasize this. It was a good series. It was a winning series. You win series, you go to the playoffs, and the Rangers are still right there in the thick of it in the playoff picture, and get a day off. Actually they get tonight off, which is unusual. They get to have dinner with their families, and then a whole day off tomorrow to do some stuff. So come back Friday ready to go.
Yeah, and you were hoping that the theatrics of this game kind of held up with game 1 and game 2 of the series. I mean, David Bednar, you were hoping he was going to get tired around that 40 pitch mark. Adolis Garcia, Elijah and I were watching the game upstairs, and Elijah said, well, this is El Bombi's spot. This is what he loves to do. He loves these big moments. Corey Seager worked that at bat pretty well. Sam Haggerty even had a pretty good game too. So you were hoping that the Rangers could push a little bit further past the 9th there. Did Bruce Bochy have anything to say about just the ending of the game specifically?
Yeah. He was asked in a roundabout way about Garcia batting cleanup, and Bruce Bochy said, "Well, he had a pretty good game yesterday. Don't forget yesterday he helped us win the game." So, you know what you get. You know what you're getting when you have Adolis Garcia. It's going to be inconsistent. and it's not good enough. I think that's why some people thought he might get traded at the trade deadline, and why there are people who think he's not going to be back next season. But the 2, 3, and 4 hitters didn't have a great series. They ended up going 6 for 38. Seager was 0 for 9 going into today. He had 2 of the softest hits of his career, but he also walked twice. So, guys are still scared of him. Simeon had an RBI hit. So, it was a little better, but those are the guys, and that's why you go back to the games, the wins Monday and Tuesday. They didn't do anything with it. It was the bottom of the order, and today the bottom of the order couldn't generate a whole heck of a lot. Higashioka hit one really hard, but it turned into a double play, one of those double plays behind Rodon that was just a killer. So but these games are going to happen. You kind of look at the big picture. The Rangers are 12-2 at home. They've won what? At least 4 straight home series.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they're still right in the thick of the wild card standings, and the West is within reach too. And they're going to need help. Everybody needs help this time of year, but I don't. It's not. It's hard as the games start to get pretty thin. There's still 50 something to go, but that's not a lot. So there's a little more urgency to win here, but to win the series, to play okay today, a couple blemishes. The Robert Garcia problem reared its head again, but the Rangers have nothing to. Their season's not over,
Right.
even though they feel that way on Twitter.
Right. It's one loss. And let's be honest. I mean, the Yankees are in do or die right now. Vibes are not good on that side of the field. So the Yankees have a heck of a lot to prove with this series. I mean, they just didn't want a sweep to happen. So they were kind of doing everything in their power to not let that happen. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's one win on the series, but there's a whole lot of baseball left to be played. One thing that I do want to talk about in this series, though, is the lack of scoring with runners in scoring position. I mean, that was, if they wouldn't have had the heroics that they did the night before, I mean, that would have been the storyline, and Nathan Eovaldi's masterclass of an outing could have gone a lot of different ways. But I mean, the batting average across the series, 258 today, 258 yesterday, and then 263 the day before. So the guys are doing something and making contact with the plate appearances, but I mean, they've got 6 left on base, 10 left on base, 11 left on base. So what are they missing in those risk opportunities?
Well, if you go back to the previous homestand, they weren't missing on those. That the Rangers were cashing in those chances, and that's what's held them down offensively all year. They had the one yesterday. They were 0 for 13 yesterday before Rowdy Tellez had his single, and then 11 left on base. All right, well, you're getting guys on base. I mean, that's always the glass half full view of things, and to the extent it's true, somebody's going to come up and get the hit. It just depends on who you're facing, who's hot, who's cold, and again, right now the middle of the lineup is not particularly hot, and you're looking at relying on guys who are at the bottom of the lineup for a reason. So yes, it's a problem for all offenses. The Yankees had their issues with it as well, and that's generally though what the team that performs well, the team that gets the hits and runners and scoring positions, and you don't always have to get a hit. Like the Rangers scored a run on a Marcus Semien sacrifice fly. Hey, that'll work.
Mm-hmm.
that'll do the job. But it also counts as an out, and rallies often die after those. So to extend the rallies, you got to get the hits, and really, with the exception of Monday night, it didn't happen in this
Right.
series.
Right. Um, an interesting outing from Jack Leiter today. Not something that, we're used to seeing from him, at least this year. 3 1/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Jack was on the podium today post game. Any remarks there? I mean, I know he's the toughest critic on himself, but I'm sure he didn't feel great about this one.
He didn't, and he said that he was just his body was out of sync, which generally means mechanics are out of sync, and you're going to struggle with your command. And first inning, scoreless first inning, but he was it was 18 pitches, it was 10 balls, and he ended up throwing 68, but I think it was a 35 ball to 33 strikes. That's not gonna get a lot done, and especially the Yankees, they're veteran hitters. They take their walks, as he said, and you just got to challenge him if you're able to there. And he wasn't. And the stuff is good. That's never been the issue with Jack Leiter. It's been this other stuff. And his delivery's been simplified over the years. And really, he now looks nothing. Well, I don't want to say nothing, but it looks a lot different than it did when he made his professional debut for the Rangers. And it is smoother. It allows him to be around the plate more. Doesn't have as many wild misses, but he still tries. And I think you saw it in the Volpe at bat. Jack got ahead 0-2, and then his next pitch he overthrew it. I mean, there was just no other way to look at it. He threw a fastball 99.1 miles per hour, but he yanked it. The fastball that was at 98.5 a couple pitches earlier was very effective. So I think sometimes he tries to step on the gas when he doesn't need to, and that comes down to, again, trusting your stuff in the strike zone. And his start against the A's, when he pitched with a big lead, he was able to do that, and you were hoping that that would be a learning lesson for him in a good way. He pitched in a win by throwing the ball in the strike zone and making those guys beat his stuff, and they couldn't do it. So it's getting back to that. But there are days when you're going to be fighting your mechanics, and bad things are going to happen. And I think if his start had been last night, he probably would have gotten a chance to work out of it. But with the day off tomorrow and Evo going 8 yesterday, the bullpen was fresh. Mm-hmm. And so Bruce Bochy could manage this one like a playoff game. And that's how he did it.
Right. And with Jack, that you're talking about that outing with the A's. I mean, he was so efficient in that last outing. He had career high of 7 strikeouts, and we kind of talked to him about his strikeout ability, and he said, I'm not even aiming for that number. It's just when you're pitching efficiently, that's a byproduct of doing that. And today is kind of the opposite effect. I mean, he was in double digits on each inning pitch count, using a lot of his arsenal: 4-seam fastball, changeup, slider, sinker, curveball, just kind of trying to find something that was working there. So yeah, I mean, you're not going to get the ace stuff from Jack Leiter and the put out pitches exactly. But a big game for Jack Leiter. This New York series is always means a little bit more to him, with former high school teammate Anthony Volpe, like you mentioned, and then his cousin Mark Leiter Jr. on the mound too.
Yeah, and he grew up in New Jersey, and the dad has ties to the New York teams, and so there's a lot going on there. But Jack was just not right with his body, and so that was the bottom line.
Right. A lot we are going to get into, and we've got a fun series ahead on this upcoming weekend for Rangers baseball. But Jeff, I mean, talk about the atmosphere at the field for, what is it, a Monday, Tuesday, and a Wednesday?
Well, that's what the Yankees will do for you. They'll get butts in the seats, and 30. It was 35.5 today. I will admit, though, there was a point in last night's game, and maybe it's because it was a scoreless game, but you could have heard a mouse fart. I mean, it was quiet in there, and I really think that Mike Bassick might have taken some heat for what he said Monday night about the crowd. We were just in Seattle, and it was a great atmosphere in Seattle. The fans were into every big situation, And Rangers fans have done that before in the past, but the ones who are coming here need to realize, hey, this is this team is in a playoff race. I know the malaise of the first few months might have you fooled, but the playoffs are complete within reach here, and players definitely feed off of the crowd's energy. So the more energy, the better when the Rangers are at home.
Yeah, and no better time to try to get that crowd going than welcoming the Phillies, who had they're used to the most hostile environment in baseball. But all right, well, we're going to take a break here, and then coming up, we're going to dive more into this series wrap-up against the Yankees and preview the Phillies. First, whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitted beanies, which Jeff does not call them beanies, or
stocking caps.
Stocking caps? There you go.
Yep.
Well, either way, Brandon Bills has you covered with performance and style. So if you're looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd, Brandon Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order and then dedicate the team, which will help you create the exact custom apparel that you need. They have partners with 40 colleagues across the campus collection, including TCU, Texas Tech, and Texas. So use the code BBDLLS for 15% off of your first order at brandedbills.com. And Jeff, why do you call it what you call it?
A stocking cap? I don't know. It's just, I grew up in Colorado.
Have you ever heard of a stocking cap? Elijah's shaking his head no. But either way, no. Brandon Bills is going to have you some nice gear. Jeff is always rocking a hat. He's got his Do It for Dirt hat on right now. For Brandon Bills would be able to help with that. But Brandon Bills, good stuff. Excited to get my own cap from them because I also love hats. So 15% off BBDLLS.
Yeah, and then you're going to be able to figure out how to spend the money on the hat. They're probably like $30 or $40. If you use Monarch Money, because Monarch Money loves to help you live the life you want to live instead of the one where you're chasing down bills and ducking the repo man and all things like that. It's so important to to save for your future, but it's also important to go out and have fun every once in a while. You can't just be eating at home 7 nights a week. Go on out and have some fun with the family. Monarch Money is going to help you do that. They help track spending, which is important because as you start adulting like you are now, Abby, you have all this money coming in and out, all these bills. You like to be in control of your finances so you know what's ahead and how much you can save and how much you can spend. And Monarch Money is going to help you with it, do it all. So use the code DLLS at monarchmoney.com for half off your first year. 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code DLLS.
Well, there you have it. Yeah, I don't know about all the money coming in, but there's some coins. Coins coming in. Energy was fun for first 2 games. A lot for a Monday night. We did talk to Boch about it, and players definitely recognize when a crowd is into it. No better time to get rowdy than when the Phillies come into town. We are going to talk a little bit about that, but we're also going to save some of it because the Rangers have an off day tomorrow and we have a show, so we can't give you all of the content.
We can't give it all up.
Jeff, when playing a baseball season, the long haul, it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Although the second half, the players do kind of refer to as a sprint because you're hoping to make that postseason push. There's often a time in the season where you can really define a mark. Do you feel like, and you kind of asked Seager about this. Was it it was Tigers series that
maybe
are the Rangers starting to hit a stride? Do you feel like this first, definitely not the road trip that they just had, but playing at home, they're 12-2, like you mentioned. The Rangers have found something that worked. The offense is starting to wake up. Heck, Jock Peterson is, somebody tweeted, I can't believe I'm saying this, but why isn't he in the lineup today? And then he had an efficient pitch hit situation. So things are kind of taking a turn for the Rangers club. What are you seeing?
You can go back to late June and see that the offense is doing better. I think that for a stretch there, the bullpen was was doing a great job, including Robert Garcia. And the starting pitching has still been there. Everybody thought, oh, they're going to regress. Watch out, it's going to be terrible. And there's a little regression, but the Rangers are in pretty much every game. You can think back on all their recent losses. They were in those games. They were not. The only one was the game, the opener at Seattle. Otherwise, they've been in the games having to use leverage arms in the bullpen, which is good and bad. I think now they have a chance to do it again, though. With the bullpen kind of retooled here, Garcia out of the closer's role. You're going to see. DeGrom is working to get better. Eovaldi's been fantastic. There's a chance that Malley will pitch in about 4 weeks. So there are going to be some options for the Rangers if things do start to fall apart. But I think, the offense hopefully has figured out after 2 months of poo, and then kind of getting better, and then really taking off, that they know how to avoid these long slumps. And that's where, Seager and Semien 2 and 3, when they're both slumping, they're not going to last long because, at least in theory, because they know how to get out of it. And now that Marcus has gotten out of the one that he had for basically the first 2 months of the year, he should be able to recognize what traps he's fallen into and what he needs to do to get better. So, but when you look throughout the lineup, a good Jock Peterson would be a tremendous boost for this lineup. I mean, they signed him for a lot of money to do the things he did Monday and Tuesday, and even today, drawing that walk as a pinch hitter. So that's a big thing. They really need Jonah Heim to figure something out, to be better, to be more consistent. He's just not very good. And I tweeted this out last night, and it remains true today. Jock Peterson has a higher on base percentage this season than Jonah Heim. So that's kind of telling what you're getting down there. You've seen Zeke Duran. He went 3 for 3 today. He's batting over 400 in his last 5 games. So maybe he's figured something out as a part-time player. Maybe it's finally clicked for him.
Mm-hmm.
Higashioka has been very good. Tellez has been okay. I think he's probably batting over 300 since the Rangers got him. I don't know if that saves him his roster spot when Jake Berger gets back, but it's something worth considering. But you got to have some flexibility and some versatility on your bench, and on a day where you might have Tellez and Peterson and Heim on the bench, that's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what's going to happen there. With Heim, the Rangers don't have any other catcher, so it's not like they have somebody down there in AAA just knocking on the door.
Right.
But so internal improvements need to come from those guys. Peterson needs to sustain what he's doing, and then again, this offense is so talented. We've been saying it since spring training. If the Rangers hit, they're going to have a really good chance to win a game that day.
Well, what's interesting is the year that Jonah Heim was the best was 2023. I mean, also a lot of individual Rangers, that's a career season for them. But it was interesting because he was also behind the plate every single day. So now with this platoon with Higgy and Heim, you were kind of thinking that Jonah could get back to that 2023 player when he has the rest and he's able to, be in the lineup and maybe sit a start behind the plate. But I think with Jonah, what's been the difference this year? Because it hasn't been the Jonah that you thought it was, especially when there's a 1A and kind of 1B situation at the catching position.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looks a lot like last year, and the one thing that did happen in 23, Mitch Garver got hurt early on, so Jonah caught more than he probably normally would have. Then Garver gets healthy, and it's kind of split up. Then Jonah gets hurt. They thought Jonah was going to be done for the season. Thought he was going to need surgery on his wrist. Lo and behold, he didn't. He's out about 2 or 3 weeks. that 2 or 3 week break was massive for him. It allowed him to rest his body and reset. Not saying that he just didn't do anything for 3 weeks, but you understand he wasn't catching in games. And so when they added Austin Hedges at the trade deadline before Heim came back, then the Rangers had 3 catchers, and Hedges didn't catch a lot, and really neither did Garver down the stretch. Down the stretch, it was pretty much Jonah all the way. The last, let's say, 15 games in every playoff game, Jonah was the starting catcher. But he also had some veterans to bounce ideas off of. So I think that's kind of how Higashioka's helped him. But now Higashioka's hot, and you wonder if Higashioka isn't 1A. And I know that Heim caught the last 2 games, Higgy caught today, but Higashioka had also worked a lot in Seattle, got 2 days off. Now he gets to catch us today, off day tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if he catches 2 of the 3 games against the Phillies. So, could be, and part of that reason is just their production. Jonah hasn't been good, and Higashioka has.
Right. And another guy that the mental reset helped him tremendously is Josh Jung. I mean, what a game for not only Jock, but Josh the other night. And then he's just been phenomenal since returning to the big league club. He didn't play today, off tomorrow, and then hopeful to be third base by Phillies series.
Yeah. So he was back at DH today, and
back at
went 0 for 3, and they actually hit Peterson for him there late in the game, and that's fine. But I think today might have been the first time he hadn't had a hit since he'd been back.
He was on a 10-game hit streak.
He's been great, and he was a little bit peeved that he didn't play yesterday. Now it worked out very well. The Jock played, and the Rangers ended up winning the game. But getting him back to third, that's gonna give the Rangers a little more flexibility. Josh Smith can move around. If they want to keep Tellez in the lineup, then maybe Josh sits. Maybe against the left-handers, maybe Corey gets a DH day and Josh is at shortstop. A lot more possibilities when Josh is able to play the field. And now, if Jake Burger comes back, which is another possibility for this series, then that's where the Tellez and the roster construction comes into place. But every position player seems to feel like he's a better player when he's not DHing, when he's in the field, right, part of the game, having to focus on every pitch. So you might see that beginning Friday with Josh Jung. He's been really, really good, but maybe there's another level there. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he's hitting .382, 13 hits, 3 home runs, 8 RBI, 8 runs scored. He was on that 10-game hitting streak, snapped today. But let's dive into a little bit deeper with Jake Burger, just to kind of catch everybody up in case they're out to date. So we talked a good bit to Boch pregame, just throughout the series about Jake Burger. What is the progression on him?
Yeah, he played 6 innings last night and went 2 for 3, and was removed from the game. They're trying to build him up, and so he I haven't seen the lineup today. I know they've posted, and I'm assuming that he's playing today, and could play tomorrow too. While the Rangers are off, Jake Burger can be playing. The Philly series has always been the target, and doesn't mean it has to be Friday, but it could be Saturday. Burger's going to DH today. They want to get him a game at first base before he comes back. So maybe that happens tomorrow. Maybe he takes a day off tomorrow, plays Friday at first, and then hops on a flight from Albuquerque to DFW in time for the game Saturday. They got him for a reason. They liked his right-handed bat. They're not good against left-handers, and they liked his ability against the fastball. It hasn't come to fruition. He's been in and out of the lineup. He chases, like crazy. I think he's still single digits in walks on the season,
Mm-hmm.
but there's power in there. There's a surprising amount of athleticism in there, and it's steadier defense at first base. I know, Tellez has played first a lot of his career, but I'd rather have Jake Burger at first. I'd rather have Jake Burger at first than Jock Peterson. Probably rather have him there than Duran and Josh Smith, if I'm being honest. So, um, you know, the Rangers have a chance to get better in a couple ways, but it's up to him to stop chasing. He really needs to hone that in and not be ultra aggressive and ultra protective with 2 strikes. Let the ball travel a little deeper. Trust his hands, trust his swings, trust his eyes, and try to draw some walks. Do everything he can to get on base more. Um, and the more base runners, in theory, the more runs you're going to score. But they want him back, and they want him to be good. And he still has a little time before they have to ultimately decide, hey, are we going to sit him, or are we going to keep playing him? We have other options at first. And honestly, I thought Jock Peterson was almost to that point, and maybe he still is. I mean, it's only been 6 plate appearances, but you hope that Jock's better and that he's figured it out. But you gotta wait and see, because there's a whole lot of evidence the first few months of the season that suggests he hasn't figured it out.
Well, more to get into after the break, so stick around.
Hey,
Prize
prize
times.
picks. I love the prize picks. In fact, I placed a couple today. It did not win because I had 2 of my 3 hit. I had Jack Leiter walking more than 1.5 batters.
Got that.
I got that. I had Kevin Gossman striking out more than 5.5 Rockies, which I got. But I also had Carlos Rodon with 7 strikeouts. I didn't get that. So that one didn't go well. I've got another one tonight. I hit 2 yesterday. I mean, Prize Picks is the number one daily fantasy app out there. It's easy. You pick 2 to 6 players per lineup. You can put as little as $1 down, and you just sit back and see what happens. It makes sports much more enjoyable. You learn more about other teams, yeah, a little action never hurt anybody. So you need to download prizepicks.com. If you use the code DLLS, you will get a $50 bonus on your first $5 deposit.
With your extra money that you win from betting, use it for Game Time, because Game Time has your ticket for any event that you would like to go to. Not only sporting events, but concerts. You can browse through the Game Time app and you can figure out something that's going to work with your schedule, even if it's a last minute thing, because they have killer last minute deals. You can view your seat and the lowest price guaranteed before you buy, so that you know that you're getting a good ticket. Pick out any specific game matchup that you would like to attend, and keep your eye on the price, because it'll only get lower. The shorter to Game Time that it gets, the cheaper the option. So that's my route. I like to look at tickets when the game starts, because it's even more low. So download Game Time and use last minute tickets and zone deals. So they have all of the prices kind of included in, because other apps, like, the ticket's not bad and then you buy it and then it's an additional $300 in fees and whatnot. So this isn't going to do that. It's the lowest price guaranteed, and even if the event is canceled, you are going to still be fine. So download Game Time and use the app for $20 off of your ticket if you use the code DLLS. Go to Game Time and download the app today. All right, Jeff, we have got a lot of questions about...
Oh, good. I love questions.
Yeah, let's talk about it, because I feel that they're saying there's just a really big missed opportunity with the pinch runner in the 8th. Specifically, Ozuna waited to steal second base when there was 2 strikes and 2 outs, and he needed to steal the base earlier. This was a waste of a pinch runner in the 8th. And another comment said that the Yankees stealing a base and the Rangers not stealing a base was the difference in the game today.
Somebody had asked me about Wyatt Langford not stealing, maybe in the second inning, when he would have, had he been running or stolen the base, the double play would have been taken out of order, and makes some sense. I'm not sure about Osuna there. Do you want to make an out on the bases? He can score from first on an extra base hit. Jock Peterson can't score from first on an extra base hit unless it's a home run. All right, so you need speed for different reasons, not necessarily to steal a base. Osuna, he's not Carl Lewis out there. I mean, he's fast, but he's been thrown out a couple times. I think that with Bednar, it probably would have been a little bit easier. But you're talking about a rookie also, and maybe the stop sign was on. Not sure. Didn't get down in the weeds on that one, but I think the primary reason that Osuna was used to pinch run wasn't to steal a base, but to be able to score on a double from first.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And then also so many comments about Robert Garcia. I mean, he gave up a home run to Paul Goldschmidt. Like,
he did.
What do you want from that guy? Paul Goldschmidt, I was telling Elijah, if he wasn't on the same team as Aaron Judge, he would get a heck of a lot more attention. I mean, he's hitting .279, 9 home runs this season, made it 10. But Paul Goldschmidt is a good player. Yankees got a good deal there, and he's did damage in this season as well. I mean this series as well. He was the home run Monday's game too. And it's not like you want to give up a home run, but there's some guys that like that one ball to Giancarlo Stanton straight to center field. You just kind of take that on the chin. There's really nothing that you can do there.
Well, I'll say this. That's the third straight game that Robert Garcia has allowed a home run. So that's an issue. It was an 0-2 pitch that was poorly located, so that's an issue. And he just seems to have trouble commanding his pitches right now. He misses a lot of spots, and if that's not where you want to go on 0-2, right? You need to either waste it or be on the edge with it, not over the plate. So. And he had the back spasms or whatever you want to call them Saturday after he allowed the Rosarina home run. I think they're trying to find a place for him that isn't the closer's role. So let's look at the positive side. He's not closing right now, but Bruce Bochy's not going to stop using it. He's been good this year for the most part. It's just been this stretch here. His last 3 appearances have been dreadful. The time before that, he saved a game in Anaheim, and he looked like Billy Wagner. He was striking guys out and challenging guys and just overpowering them. Yes, he does have options. He can go to the minor leagues, but I don't think the Rangers are there yet. They're not gonna just completely give up on him. This isn't. They have other arms that can protect him, that they can shield him, they can hide him, they can let him work on flat ground. He can throw some touch and goes, touch and feels, if you want to call them, before games. Maybe a day off is going to help him tomorrow. Maybe they get in a situation where they can use him in a lower leverage situation rather than a tie game or with a lead. But as much as some people may want to see Robert Garcia, sent down, he's not going to be sent down. He may get buried for a while, but you may see him pitching when the Rangers are trailing instead of tied or ahead. But it's still an arm they believe in, a guy who overall has been pretty good this year. It's just right now it's not clicking.
Right, and we talked to Phil Maton in the clubhouse a little bit earlier. This is kind of first time I've gotten to talk to him since joining the Rangers. If you want to clue everybody in on the conversation that we had with him yesterday, said he was comfortable in the ninth. Phil's almost a 10-year, guy in the league, and he's obviously been with tons of teams, and those high pressure situations. What's your takeaway there with the Rangers' newest addition to the bullpen?
I hadn't, I didn't realize that he had bounced around so much.
Yeah.
He called himself the day we talked to him in Seattle a mercenary. He's used to this. He got traded at the deadline last year too, and it didn't go great with the Mets. But um, and he doesn't blow guys away. He knows what he has, and he's very effective with it. The last pitch last night was a 93 mile per hour fastball that Trent Grisham made it look like it was 103. It was,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's some deception there. And when you're changing speeds, as Mike Maddox likes to say, when you're stepping on the gas and hitting the brake, all of a sudden there's going to be some. It's going to make it hard on hitters, and that's what Phil does. Closing, that was his 5th save of the season. He had some with the Cardinals. He said, and a lot of relievers say this: I'm comfortable wherever. If it's in the 9th inning, I'm going to treat it like it's the 6th inning. But there's no question that the Rangers have decided at the trade deadline that they need new 8th and 9th inning guys, or 7th and 8th inning guys, because Danny Coulombe and Phil Maton have pitched only late in games, only in high leverage situations. And so we'll see how it plays out when Chris Martin returns. If Robert Garcia gets back to being more effective, but the deadline has done the Rangers some good. It's created some depth. I mean, Hobie Milner pitched in the 4th inning today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he pitched really, really well. But he's not a guy they have been using in the 4th. But now that they have these 2 extra arms, they have a little more wiggle room with him. And he was really, really good. What, 2 2/3 scoreless?
Mm-hmm.
Great job by Hobie Milner.
Right. And you wish you could get 8 innings from your starting pitcher. That just doesn't happen these days. It's quality plus start from Nathan Eovaldi day before. And then who even opened up game 1? I get my days mixed up. Who was game 1?
Game 1 was Corbin, but it was John Gray who came in and saved the day.
Yeah. So interesting little split here with the bullpen. Because game 1 early out as well. Game 2 almost the whole game, and then game 3 kind of a split too there. But so the Rangers are going to welcome the Phillies on Friday, and guess who's going to make his home debut?
Yeah, looking forward to watching Merrill Kelly pitch again. He was really, really good in Seattle. Those first 5 innings were as clean as you can go. And then the 6th inning, he had the couple mental mistakes, a couple runs scored. But it's good. And apparently he fits right in with everybody else in the rotation. He's a veteran guy, pretty self-sufficient. You don't have to worry about reminding him, hey, you got to get down and throw your bullpen, or hey, you got to go throw. He goes and takes care of all of that without any direction from the pitching coaches, and looking forward to it. And I was on a show on PHNX, our sister station there in Phoenix, and the host there, Derek, was talking about how Kelly's he was their big game guy, and you saw it in the World Series. The only game the Rangers lost was to Merrill Kelly in game 2. So, these are all big games down the stretch, and he's going to want the ball. And he can't get it every day, but every 5th day ought to be good enough. So he's pitched obviously in the National League his whole career, so he's going to have a familiarity with the Phillies. They're going to have a familiarity with him, but advantage pitcher, I think. Even against those big Phillies bats, his 2 different fastballs and his changeup are really, really effective. The changeup isn't necessarily a huge change of pace from his fastball, but it has a lot of depth and it looks like a fastball, and that's what seems to get the hitters give the hitters the most problems.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one here. All right, so we are going to bat cleanup when we come back and just chit chat all the things about baseball. Stick around. Well, Jeff, I'm shocked that you are not wearing any merch today, but I actually am. This might be my one and only piece. But it's a sweatshirt. I love a sweatshirt. Wearing a sweatshirt in August is a lot, I realize, but it's cold in here.
Yeah.
And honestly, I need one at the park because you wouldn't really think about it, but when it's like 99 degrees outside and then it's 72 at Globe Life Field, I get cold. So I need to start
Oh,
bringing this sweatshirt around. But
yeah, I
we've
agree.
got all the merch, and the more merch that you guys buy, the cooler it gets. I've checked out like all of the other locations, and Chicago has like a deep dish pizza shirt that I think is really cool. They've got like a barbecue kind of vibe shirt here, so definitely cool stuff for your closet. Jeff can speak on the quality. He's got how many now?
Total probably about 16 or 17, somewhere in there. I've got some more coming too. So uh, you guys don't have to be as prolific as me, but and I generally don't wear a T-shirt to um, the ballpark.
You got to dress up.
I try to be a little bit professional, but I'm always going to wear the hat. And once we get those hats, baby, it's game over. I will wear a DLLS hat pretty much every day, except maybe do it for Durant Week, and maybe Masters Week. I'll wear a Masters hat, but otherwise
Gotcha.
it's going to be straight DLLS hats. And you can get a shirt when you become a diehard. And apparently, this training camp offer is still going. If you
Oh
haven't
yeah.
taken advantage of that, I don't know what you're waiting for. $36 for a year's worth of Clarence Hill and Sam Nestler and Tim Cato, and even a little something from me every once in a while. It's good stuff. We cover the four major pro teams better than the other place, believe it or not. The Dallas newspaper doesn't even have a Stars writer. We have one, and he's very, very good at his job. Sam. We have Sean Shapiro, who helps out and with some writing occasionally on the hockey beat. John Radigan will pin something every once in a while. Rangers wise, you just can't beat it, and you get access to all of it. You get 20% off our events, like our trip to Las Vegas with True Fan Travel with the Dallas Cowboys crew. It's gonna be a lot of fun in November, but you got to be a diehard to do it.
Go ahead and sign up. All right, this might be something that we like really dive in tomorrow, but Nathan Eovaldi. That's one of the more insane runs that you've seen from a starter. His ERA is literally almost invisible. And Bruce Bochy said it himself. I mean, this is the best. He said the best stretch from a pitcher that he's seen. And he compared his work prep and how he kind of gets ready for the game to Madison Bumgarner. Maybe you've heard of the guy.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Eovaldi was on MLB Network today. He won the pitching. I'm not sure if that's an MLB Network award, but they gave him like a little pitching hand for his feature because he was pitcher of the month for the American League in the month of July. I mean, I think we should talk about it tomorrow, obviously. But it just, you can't ask for more.
No, and he's very unassuming and very humble when he talks about these things. Because now Cy Young talk is going to start to happen if he continues to do this, and there's no indication so far that he won't continue it. He's been great, and he uses Bruce Bochy thinks he uses his pitch mix more. Mike Maddox is a big believer, as we talked about just not that long ago, in the way that Eovaldi changes speeds, and he has 5 pitches to do it with, and he commands all of them, can throw any of them for a strike at any time, and it just makes life hard on these hitters, and his ERA now in his last 6 starts is under half a run.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal stuff, and now there's a legit question. All right, Rangers make the postseason. All right, and they're a wild card. They have a 3-game series. Do you start
Who you
Nathan
starting?
Eovaldi in game 1?
Evo or DeGrom?
I mean, he's Eovaldi is nails, and you look at what he did in the postseason in 2023, he went 5-0.
Yeah.
It's like, my gosh, maybe we should start off with this guy who's a total bulldog. Not that Jacob deGrom isn't. And there's probably not a wrong answer, but I wonder if they would go with Evo.
Well, do you remember like opening day? I mean, we kind of threw around that hypothetical as well. You remember?
Well, he did start an opening day, and it's a reward for coming back and all that. And deGrom was pushed back to the end of the rotation so that they could,
Yeah,
as a
totally.
way to help save bullets for later in the year. Let's say that Eovaldi wins the Cy Young. Well, first, he'd be the first in Rangers history to do it. There's no way he wouldn't start an opening day if that were the case. But what a fun, what a luxury to have, a dilemma to have. Boy, do I start Eovaldi or do I start deGrom? Eovaldi or
Yeah.
deGrom or Eovaldi? You can't get much better than that. And again, I don't know that there's a wrong answer.
We got Evo is better than Skubal. What are your takes on that?
I think they're different pitchers. I think Eovaldi has to pitch more than Skubal, because Skubal can overpower, and his changeup is really, really good. But Eovaldi's split is terrific, and when you get to the end of the year and you put the numbers up, side by side, it may very well be that Eovaldi's better. He definitely he knows how to pitch. Nathan Eovaldi knows how to pitch. Not that Skubal doesn't, but like the craft of pitching, the art of pitching, I would give Eovaldi the edge then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we want to bat clean up a little bit. Down on the farm, Jeff, 2 Rangers prospects honored in July. I know you love to talk about these guys. Tell me.
Yeah, so Abby Ortiz, well, I'm going to do him second.
Okay.
Duard Tovar, who's a teenager from the Dominican, he might be from Venezuela. He's from down there somewhere. $10,000 signee a few years ago. He spent 2 seasons in the Dominican Summer League. He comes to Arizona this year and is phenomenal. And he was the ACL Player of the Month for July. Guy who does a little bit of everything. He's not a huge guy. He's like 5'11", 180, kind of short levers, kind of the mold of hitters that the Rangers have been drafting and selecting internationally. So there might be something there, So he's quick to the ball, generates power, a lot more power for his size. Left-handed hitter, left-handed thrower. Interesting name to keep an eye on, because they had some, they had Wilfran Castillo down there this year in Arizona, and Paulino Santana, who made a lot more money than old Dewey, but he was better than both of them. And Yolfran has been moved to Hickory, where Santana already was. So, to see the Rangers' top international signees from the 2024 class get to a full season affiliate is a good thing to see. They may not, there'll be a learning curve. They may struggle a little bit, but to see them move on is a good sign. And then Abby Ortiz, Texas League Player of the Month, OPS over 1,000, 7 home runs, batted like 341, I think it was. Well, he got promoted to Round Rock last night. In his first AAA game, he hits 2 home runs, and he ties a Round Rock record with 8 RBIs. What a debut! That's pretty awesome. Abby's about as nice as they come, and he's still a work in progress defensively. The offense hasn't been very consistent since he's been to AA, but it looks like he got hotter sooner this year than he did last year. So maybe he's going to keep it up like he did last year and finish off. But AAA is going to be a challenge for him too. Every level is a new challenge. But for one day at least, he looked like he's ready for the majors.
Something about those Abbies. They must be pretty nice.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Abby
well, how about this? The rookie Roman Anthony, outfielder for the Red Sox. 8
Yes.
years. He is $130 million, technically richer, with a $30 million team option that could keep him under club control until 2034. You bring up a good point. Could the Rangers do the same with Wyatt Langford?
They could,
Like,
and they should.
they
You
could.
know, it needs to happen. They believe in Wyatt Langford, and I know he's kind of has ordinary numbers. Really, I mean, he's not. He wasn't an all-star, and he's not one of the best players in the league right now. But the potential's there. Next next year there's a chance for him to really take off. These last 2 months, there's a chance for that to happen as he continues to learn more and more about himself in the major leagues. So yeah, I would definitely do that. I don't know that the Rangers typically don't do those kinds of things in season. It could be an off-season situation for him. Spring training is when historically, at least my time on the beat, when they've gotten those deals done, or at least very, very early into the season. Both Kinsler extensions, a Derek Holland extension, the Anders extension came early in 2013. I think after the second game of the season. It might have broke after the Darvish near perfect game. So there's a lot to he has a lot to offer, and the club has an opportunity to save some money on the front end, and maybe he can make some money on the back end. Maybe they're gun shy. They haven't really done it since Odor, and that didn't work out very well. But I think here is a situation where they should give it a shot.
Yeah, it's definitely worth considering. Baseball's funny because, I love when the sport makes me feel bad for like an almost billionaire. Listen to this. Shohei Ohtani struck out 8 batters and he hit a 2-run home run. The Dodgers still lost 5-3 to the Cardinals.
Wow. That again, John and I talked about this last week at the deadline. I think the Dodgers are susceptible. And that's probably why AJ Preller did what he did with the Padres. There seems to be a chance there. That Ohtani came out of his last start. I think it was with cramping. Everybody was thinking it was an oblique or his shoulder or something, but it was just like a calf in his cramp. A cramp in his calf. How about that? And so he was able to pitch today. And he's getting to the point now where he's going to be going deeper into games and is going to be a weapon for them as a starting pitcher, as well as while still being able to hit. Yeah.
Just an update on Abby Ortiz. 3 home runs now and 9 RBI in his first 2 AAA games. So he's coasting.
Good for him. Now, Albuquerque, it's one of those Pacific Coast League parks that's a little higher at altitude and the ball flies, but you still have to hit it hard to get it out. So he's seeing it real well right now. So good for him. He is.
Well, we are going to have a lot to talk about tomorrow, so be sure to come hang out with us as the Rangers have an off day here. And then, Phillies coming into town. That's going to be a really fun series. Kyle Schwarber, what he's doing right now post All-Star break is just insane. Give me a Schwarber home run prediction.
I'm
gonna go 2.
I'll just go ahead and say none. I mean, he's
Is he frozen? Oh, I think Jeff's frozen. Yeah, he got frozen for saying no home runs for Schwarber. I mean, you'd like you hope, but he's on a tear right now. So, we will see. But Merrill Kelly going to make his home debut for the Texas Rangers. It's going to be fun few days. Really, really, really good baseball is about to be played. So we're excited to talk about it. Thanks for hanging out with us on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.